What's up everyone? I'm out in the shop today with a bunch of parts around me here. The stuff I'm holding in my hands are recognizable as the OEM pitch stop mount and the GrimmSpeed version pitch stop mount. Now, a lot of you know the OEM leaves a lot to be desired. It's a skinny plastic piece with some relatively soft bushings. Doesn't really stop the pitch of your engine and transmission back and forth as much as you'd want during hard acceleration and deceleration. Now that's where we made the GrimmSpeed pitch stop mount as an improvement. It's a billet piece of aluminum, nicely anodized with some 80 durometer harder bushings compared to the OEM. Now, because of your requests, especially from people that race their cars, drive them aggressively, we've decided to make a more hardcore version of this in the GrimmSpeed race version pitch stop mount right behind me and the bushing kits that go with it. So let's unbox it over here and I'll show you what it's all about. The differences between the OEM one and the GrimmSpeed version are pretty evident, but between the standard version and the race version, it's a little bit harder to tell. Obviously, the color of the anodizing and the bushings is different. It's the inverse color with the race pitch stop mount, but the biggest difference is the durometer of these bushings. As I mentioned, the standard one is 80 durometer. This one's actually 95. So the higher the durometer, the stiffer the bushing. When you put this in your car over the standard version and especially over the OEM, it's going to tighten up everything, and that pitch, the back and forth movement of the engine and the transmission is going to be minimalized. Now this also has a different effect in that it'll make you feel the vibration a little bit more. So as the engine revs and as your transmission shifts, you're going to be able to feel it in the cab a little bit more. So it's not necessarily for everyone, but for those that want a little bit more of a hardcore setup all around, if they're tracking their car, driving it aggressively, this is the way to go. Now the really cool thing is if you already have the standard one, we are going to offer bushing kits as well. So we've got the 80 and 95 durometer bushing kits, so you can either make your race version into a standard one if it's a little bit too harsh of a setup for you, or like a lot of people will do, take your standard GrimmSpeed pitch stop mount that you already have and turn it into the race version. Kind of play and mix and match with colors as well as the hardness of the bushings. So now that we seat it out of the car, let's go over to our WRX that is rocking the GrimmSpeed front mount so we can see exactly what the pitch stop looks like, put the race version on and show you the differences. If you're looking at the engine bay of a stock turbocharged Subaru, it would be a little bit hard to identify where the pitch stop mount is. If the top mount intercooler is off though, you can see it's right here front and center above the transmission area. And luckily enough, we have a standard GrimmSpeed pitch stop mount in our shop car right here. One of the great things about these is the installation is incredibly easy. It's just 2 bolts and it pops right out. So why don't we take this off, we'll get the race version on and see exactly what the whole setup looks like. So there it is, the easiest install you're going to do all year as long as your top mount's out, and even if it isn't, it's still pretty easy to take it off, put the pitch stop mount underneath. Now if you've looked around your engine and transmission, you know that's held up by a couple of pieces, the engine mounts on either side and the transmission mount in the back. The pitch stop mount is really the only other piece in that equation that's there to hold the engine and transmission from pitching back and forth and side to side. So it's important to have an upgraded unit over the stock one that can handle a lot of the aggressive driving that these cars might not necessarily be meant for from the factory. So right now we have the standard one on our website, and as of today, when this video drops, the race version is also going to be available. So you can pick and choose which one you want, and with the bushing kits that are going to be available as well, there is some interchangeability. If you go with the race version and it might be a little bit too stiff for you, you can go back and vice versa. And really the great thing about these, aside from the ease of install, is how many Subarus they fit. Anything from 02 to 20 WRX, STI, and Imprezas, but also generations of Crosstrek, Forester, Legacy, and Outback. So really, if you want to improve the performance and the feel of your car, either one of these is a must-have.